G'day DIY pool legends. Well, today we are going to be running through the installation of a fiberglass pool from the very beginning all the way through to the end, including water in the pool, sparkly away, ready to go swimming. Now, we thought we'd show you this one because it's a little bit different. It's a pool going into rock. Now, if you're lucky, and most people are, then you're going to have a beautiful green backyard with beautiful, soft, smudgy, malleable clay that will take the excavator about 3 hours to dig out, and off they go, and in goes the pool, and voila, nice and easy. But when it comes to rock, it gets a little bit more tricky, and that's why we thought we'd show this one, because we get so many people saying, why is it that excavation is so much more expensive when it's going into rock? And what you can see here is the excavator has to scoop out what they've just broken with the rock breaker, and then that little head that you just saw on there, that's the rock breaker, and they've literally just got to lift it up and down and break the rock. And this excavation, so it's for a 7-metre Hayman pool, it took 2.5 days. So the big takeaway with this is always get a soil test before your pool starts, because the last thing you want is you've got trades on site, they're all ready to go, thinking the excavation is going to be 2 or 3 hours, and then you find out that it's going to be 2 or 3 days and it's going to cost you a lot more money, and you've got to reorganise trades, and then things start to get a little bit more difficult from there. So definitely well worth the cost of a soil test. Now, the other part is when it comes to figuring out, well, what goes on the bottom of the pool, so bedding and backfill and everything else. If you're not sure, we've got videos showing you what you can and can't use. The most important thing is that it is compliant with Australian standards. And if you're one of our customers, you get access to all of our videos on that, and also a copy of those Australian standards. Now, you see shaking away in the corner there was temporary fencing, which check your permit, because it's not just when the pool is filled with 300 ml of water that you need a temporary fence. It's often when the excavation is a certain depth, because it becomes a risk for people to fall into. Now, you might be wondering, why is this pool getting put into what looks like the mouth of that sand creature in Star Wars? Well, the thing with rock excavation is it never ends up a beautiful, nice rectangular shape you're going to get if you're one of these blessed people with smudgy clay that's all sand that's nice and easy to dig out. But as much as this one looks really tricky, at the end of the day, it's definitely possible to do, as much as though it doesn't look that pretty at the moment. It's good example show. Once you get the bedding down, everything's starting to look normal. Now, if you're wondering what is the bedding material and everything else that they're using, then check out our videos, which it also shows how to screed the bedding layer and get it all nice and ready for when the pool comes in. Now, when the pool comes walking in a second, pay attention to how narrow the pathway is. That's actually a footpath that the pool's going in from. And the reason for that was the owner of this pool had quotes $30,000 more than what it ended up costing them, because they had power lines, massive trees, everything out the front, and they were getting quoted for 100-ton cranes and all difficult access and everything else. And by heading down the DIY path, and we were able to put them in touch with a crane company that said, yep, we can walk it down that back path, cost them about $600, and save them about 30 grand by going the DIY path. Okay, up to the good bit around the backfilling and everything else. Now, you might notice there's only one person doing this job. Always great if you can have a posse of people doing the installation with you. But if you're on your own, then as you can see here, you can definitely do it. You don't need an army of people. And what the installer's up to here is slowly filling the pool with water and fitting the pipework as the pool's filling up. Now, how do you do that, and what are the options and what are the techniques? We've got videos showing you step by step how to backfill and level a pool, how to fit the plumbing to the pool, fit skimmer boxes, return jets. Even the 2 pool lights that you can see are now sitting either side of that side seat area. We've got a video showing you how to do that. And you might be wondering, what are those pipes sitting on the left-hand side of the pool? It's not a set of extractors or an exhaust or anything else. they're called piers, and piers are needed when you've got too much space between your pool wall and the excavation wall. We've got a video on that showing you how they work and when you need them. So you definitely want to put them in if they're needed. It's going to save you a few headaches down the track. So here we are. Pool has been properly backfilled and you've got the concreters on site gearing up to put the bond beam in. Now the bond beam, every fiberglass pool needs a bond beam, except if you're in Western Australia with sandy soil, then you generally don't, lucky you. And if you're wondering, what is that white foamy stuff that is on the edge of the pool? Well, with this pool, when it's finished, it's going to have exposed aggregate and it's going to have a 60 mil overhang, and that foam is actually the formwork that holds the concrete in place. Now the first step here is getting the bond beam in, and we've got a video showing you how to set up the bond beams and also around the electrical requirements with earthing as well. It's pretty straightforward, and you can use a concreter, or a lot of people will do that themselves. Next stage now is setting up for the exposed aggregate. And you might be wondering, well, what is that long rectangular box at the shallow end? Well, that's a below ground box for your pool blanket, which basically means that when the blanket is off the pool, it's hidden and all you see is a nice flush lid, and you don't have a pool roller showing up at the end of your pool, which some people don't like the look of. And when the blanket is on the pool itself, then all you see is the strings coming out and the blanket on the pool. So the next step from here is once that concrete goes off, then it gets exposed by washing it off with acid, the top layer, and exposes the stone, as you can see here. And then in goes your pool fencing and you're done. And look, that's basically all of the steps. Whether you're putting the pool into rock, into sand, into clay, it's the same process, just minus the rock breaking if you're not going into rock. And look at how the pool has turned out. The colors, the Marbletech Alabaster, which is just absolutely stunning, and that watercolor just says come and jump in, let's go for a swim. Once the landscaping matures, that pool area is just going to be so fantastic. And the beauty about this whole process is the customer has ended up saving themselves about $35,000 over and above what they were quoted by a full service pool builder. And the reason for that was it's a difficult job. So the pool builders put more margin on it. They were getting quoted for massive cranes, massive time delays, all of these sort of things. So it just goes to show that when you do tackle it yourself and you're happy to pick up the phone, you can save a massive amount of money and get the outcome that you want without compromising on quality or any other outcome, which is the absolute name of the game. And if you'd like to find out more or how you could do the same thing, you can get hold of us through any of the social channels or call 1300 652 710. We'd love to chat, hear about your project, see how we might be able to help. Please like and subscribe to the channel. The more people who do, the more people who know about us, the more people we can help, and that's absolutely what we love to do. All right, DIY Pool Legends, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.